Thanks for watching this edition of the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch digital exclusive. I'm Casey Claiborne, and we're taking a look back at some of the crime stories that have made headlines recently in our area. Police have arrested a 16-year-old boy accused of shooting a man to death in downtown Austin. They say there had been a brief exchange before the teen pulled the trigger near 3rd and Nueces. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has the details.
I was in my apartment and I heard sirens. I didn't think anything of it.
It was around 7:30 Monday night. Jason Goldenberg was in his condo in downtown Austin. He says he was about to head out.
In the elevator down to my truck, somebody goes, made a very offhanded comment. They were like, "Don't get shot tonight." And I was like, what?
Outside his door,
there was yellow tape and 12 cop cars.
Corbin McDavid says he was in the middle of it all.
Very cinematic is what it felt like.
He says he was leaving the library on 2nd Street when he heard gunshots.
It was probably about 8 shots.
He says he then walked up to the Shoal Creek pedestrian bridge.
There was probably 10 people gathered around the weapon and a bag.
Police say that's where a shooting happened. They say 2 men were walking towards the bridge when 2 other men came up to them. Apparently, 39-year-old Tavon Brown made a comment to a teen about his spot on the walkway as they passed by. The 16-year-old shot Brown.
They got shot on the bridge and then stumbled their way to Polvos and fell in front of Polvos. Here's the really sad part, though, is somebody said that they pulled their footage from their unit, and they were able to see that the people that were in the surrounding area, the workers at some of these places and people in the surrounding area, watched the guy fall and did nothing about it.
Police say the victim died at the hospital a short time later. The teen ran off, but police went after him.
Some were taking off on feet, some were in cars.
They eventually caught up to the teen and he was arrested.
When I found out somebody actually did get shot, it's just as spooky, living in this building and knowing that that's happening on my front doorsteps.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
New developments in the case of the man who slammed into more than a dozen cars on I-35, killing 5 people last month. His attorney is asking a judge to let his client out of jail. This comes after lab reports reveal he did not have alcohol or drugs in his system. On March 13th, around 11:30 at night, Solomon Araya was driving on I-35 near Palmer and Howard Lanes in North Austin when he plowed into more than a dozen vehicles. During the field sobriety test, Austin police say Araya had uncontrollable eye movements, was swaying, couldn't keep his balance, and didn't correctly complete the walk and turn or one-leg stand tests. They say he appeared calm and indifferent, which seemed unusual given the circumstance. A detective says he believed Araya was under the influence of depressants. He was charged with 5 counts of intoxication manslaughter and 2 counts of intoxication assault.
It's either just recklessness or gratuitous idiocy or overzealousness and a lack of empathy for anybody that you would drop 7 felonies on someone and you don't know what was in their blood and you're going by field sobriety tests.
The lab reports from Araya's blood sample indicate there was no alcohol or drugs in his system. Araya's attorney says there's no longer probable cause, so he's pushing for his client to be immediately released from jail. That will be decided by a judge at the next hearing. A date hasn't been set yet. Araya is currently being held in the Travis County Jail on more than $1 million. In Leander, police say a man tried to kidnap a child. It was a scary moment for the mom and her 4-year-old. Thankfully, that child is safe and no one was hurt. Fox 7 Austin's Lauren Rangel has more on the search for the suspect.
At 4 in the afternoon on Wednesday, Leander's Lakeline Boulevard is crawling with kids. That's partially why an attempted kidnapping here that morning is so concerning to parents and Leander police, including Lieutenant Mike Moeller.
Very, very, very uncommon. In the 25 years that I've been with Leander, almost 25 years that I've been with Leander, it's the first.
Around 7 a.m. at an apartment near Lakeline Boulevard and Hawk Drive. Police say a mom was walking to her car with her 4-year-old child when a man tried to kidnap the child.
The mother did what any mother would do and protect her and her children.
She was able to fight him off before he ran south toward Cedar Park barefoot.
It's really an alarm to my head.
Jose Pasco waits to pick up his son from the nearby middle school in the neighborhood across the street.
Well, I have to be more concerned. I don't know if I have to change something. I have to make the line over there to make sure my kids are safe. But we should try to work with the neighbors, to see anything strange and spread the news, spread the word, because it's our kids. They're our kids.
Lieutenant Moeller with Leander police say they were not able to locate the suspect via drones or canines, so he's turning to the public for help, identifying a white man he believes to be 5'9", thin-built with short, dark, curly hair, last seen wearing light-colored shorts, a dark top, and no shoes.
We can't be everywhere at every time, so we're going to have the public, we increase the amount of people that can be out there, being eyes and being ears for us. If they see somebody that resembles a suspect in that area, please give us a call. But also if they live close to that location, please, if you do have a Ring camera, you can just give us a call.
Also in Leander, the police department's animal services unit is searching for a person they say abandoned several cats. Staff at Texas Humane Heroes say surveillance video shows the person dropping off the 5 cats and then leaving the property. Fox 7 Austin Dan Radford has that story.
It's always heartbreaking when you see animals, living creatures like this that are just abandoned without any explanation or seeming remorse or anything like that.
These are the photos posted to the Leander Police Department's social media platform, showing a person with 2 cages in their hand walking toward Texas Humane Heroes in Leander.
Saturday morning, about 15 minutes before we opened, and that's based on the camera footage we got, someone dropped off these 5 cats in a kennel outside.
Texas Humane Heroes is a nonprofit organization that takes in animals from overcrowded shelters.
We can't take any surrenders of any kind off the street.
The police department's social media post has drawn in hundreds of comments from the public. One comment stating in part, "Do you know the surrender fee for one animal at the shelter?" A second comment stating, "You can literally drop babies off at a fire station like returning a book to a library, but can't drop off a cat without leaving a note." Many in the comments unaware that dropping the cats off is considered abandoning the animals.
You are not allowed just to take an animal and then drop it off at your closest shelter without any sort of explanation or anything like that. That is the crime of animal cruelty. The first thing you are going to want to do is call your local animal shelter or rescue. That will probably be a municipal facility, probably in the county. If you live in a bigger city, check with that. Contact them, find out what the procedure is. Explain your situation.
Long says the shelters will let those in need know if there is space available or recommend another facility. He says there are safer ways to rehome animals.
This is animal cruelty, it's abandonment, and if you're caught, you will face consequences for those actions.
A Travis County judge has sentenced a man to 17 years in prison for killing 2 people while drinking and driving. This is the 7th time Roberto Rangel was arrested for drunk driving. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has that story.
Mr. Rangel, if you'll please rise for my decision.
A decision that the Narvaez and Zamora family have been waiting for years.
Kate and Mark were fantastic, beautiful children that, really were just living their life as a young age.
In December 2022, they were killed in a crash on East Bend White Boulevard. Roberto Rangel was driving the truck. Narvaez and Garcia were on the motorcycle. After refusing to even attempt the field sobriety test in those early morning hours, Rangel was arrested for intoxication manslaughter. He eventually pleaded guilty to second-degree felony DWI, third or more. This is Rangel's 7th time he's been caught drinking and driving, something the judge says she considered in her decision.
7th DWI, there is nothing that I can do to get past that. Had this been your first DWI, sir, we would be talking about something very different here today.
In front of a packed courtroom,
It tells you what great kids they were.
The decision finally came.
I am sentencing you to 17 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division with the deadly weapon finding.
Hector Narvaez then spoke directly to Rangel.
While you serve in jail, I hope that you will be afraid of the day you die, because God, the ultimate judge, will surely condemn you to an eternity in hell.
Rangel will have to spend at least 7.5 years behind bars before he's eligible for parole.
As a mom, there's no sentence long enough for him.
Our family is satisfied with the outcome.
They say they hope they can now start to heal.
Learning to live without her presence, and closing this chapter that it was long due.
Rangel cannot appeal the judge's decision. Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch.
The Austin Police Department is trying to improve how they investigate sex crimes. They just finished their first yearly review of cases after criticism in recent years. Fox 7 Austin's Angela Shin has the details on that.
Austin police announcing their first annual case review of sexual assault cases.
Survivors, I want to assure you, you're not alone. You're seen, you're heard, and we are here to support you.
We remain focused on providing the best possible service to survivors, and we're dedicated to learning and improving every day.
The review looks at cases that were closed between 2021 and 2022. It found the following areas for improvement: enhanced patrol officer training, detective checklists, better documentation and communication tracking, evidence inventory, improving data collection systems, and quality assurance. The review stems from a Police Executive Research Forum report done in 2022, which found numerous issues with sexual assault investigations. In 2018, APD cleared its backlog of more than 4,000 rape kits.
It's not just our agency. That was a nationwide problem, but our agency is very much focused on ensuring that we keep track of all sexual assault kits that are within our domain.
In 2022, the city settled a lawsuit from survivors who accused APD and the DA's office of mishandling their cases. Last year, the city formally apologized to victims for how they handled sexual assault cases. With this annual review, the department says they want to set a precedent.
We hope our proactive approach and ongoing efforts to improve the experience and outcome of sexual assault survivors will serve as an example to other units and agencies across the country.
What we want to be able to do is provide the utmost care, support, and handling of these cases.
Angela Shen, Fox 7 Austin News.
Texas Department of Public Safety officials say a fugitive from the state's 10 most wanted criminal illegal immigrants list has been caught in Austin. The 25-year-old suspect on your screen was wanted out of Travis County since February for deadly conduct. He was also wanted out of Williamson County since March for theft of property. DPS agents worked alongside Highway Patrol troopers to conduct the arrest. An update on a Georgetown woman who was killed when a camper shell flew off of a truck and hit her car while she was driving. The truck driver was recently arrested. On March 4th, 65-year-old Kimberly Martin was driving on Ronald Reagan Boulevard outside of Georgetown. She and a truck were passing each other. That's when the camper shell flew off the truck and hit Martin's windshield. The truck drove off. The attorney representing Martin's family says before deciding whether to sue, they wanted to know more about where the truck driver was going, whether he was working for someone, and why the camper shell flew off.
Was it manufactured incorrectly? Was it installed improperly? And so we're trying to make sure that we find out who did this, why it happened, and we want to see if we can prevent it from happening again.
3 weeks after the crash, they were able to get surveillance and dash cam video from the surrounding area, which helped identify the truck. DPS arrested Christopher Fedoroff, who's now been charged with failure to stop and render aid. Austin police are looking for 2 people involved in the deadly shooting of a man in downtown Austin. Surveillance video captured the men running off after the killing. Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis has that story.
Imagine yourself being in total darkness and somebody being killed right next to you.
Austin police say that's what happened on Monday. At around 2 in the morning, a blind man was standing next to his friend Rex Johnson near East 4th Street and I-35 in downtown Austin. A man then knocked Johnson down to the ground, and another man shot and killed him. The suspects ran off.
It's obviously pretty frightening if you're out walking with a sighted person at night and they're attacked and subsequently killed. And and you're left there to try to figure out what's going on.
Chris Prentice says the blind person probably has valuable information for detectives, though.
You don't have to be able to see someone to identify them. If the blind person knew these people or had some awareness of them, he could recognize their voices, he could recognize some of the other sounds they made, or remember what they said.
And as a potential witness, he says they need to be protected, as the people who did this haven't been arrested yet.
Until people are brought to justice, because I think they're potentially in danger.
Police are looking for these two suspects who they say targeted Johnson. They're described as two black males in their late 20s to early 30s. Police are also looking for any information to help with this investigation. Prentice says as much information as possible about what happened is needed to build this case for the district attorney to prosecute.
I don't want them to say, well, the only guy we got's a blind guy, we can't prove this, and basically throw it to the wayside.
Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.
A state law signed more than a decade ago was meant to protect criminal defendants from prosecutor misconduct. Now some critics say that law is being misused. Fox's Stephen Dial breaks it down from both sides.
Michael Morton was convicted in 1987 and sentenced to life for the murder of his wife. One of his defense attorneys recalled his client's reaction to the verdict.
I saw his legs lock up. I saw him almost pass out. And at the time, I kind of thought he might be guilty. And I was on his team. But there was a lot that we did not know.
25 years later, Morton was exonerated after DNA testing connected another man to the crime. His legal team discovered the prosecutor in the case withheld evidence that would have led detectives to another suspect. In 2013, Governor Rick Perry signed the Morton Act into law, requiring prosecutors to disclose a broad range of evidence to the defense without them having to request it. But some district attorneys have pushed back, arguing defense attorneys are abusing the law in cases where police may be holding evidence that prosecutors are unaware of. That brings us to Senate Bill 1124, a proposal by Senator Joan Huffman.
Unfortunately, defense lawyers are now taking advantage of this technicality by not specifically requesting evidence that they know a law enforcement agency has failed to turn over to the prosecutor.
Multiple district attorneys, both Republican and Democrat, say misuse of the Morton Act is getting valid evidence tossed out. Huffman says that her proposed changes would not impact exculpatory evidence, meaning evidence that would absolve a defendant of a crime that they are accused of.
We had an experience in Fort Bend County where we were trying a murder case, and from the witness stand, we found out that there was additional body cam.
On the other side of the argument, defense attorneys say, how would they know what evidence to specifically request if they don't know what the evidence is in its entirety? The concern, they say, is it once again shields the state from full disclosure.
Our concern at TCLA is this gives too much discretion to DAs to determine what is relevant information to be turned over.
For more stories featured in this episode, you can head to our website, fox7austin.com, and click on the CrimeWatch section at the top of the page. You can also watch on our Fox Local mobile and connected TV apps. They're free to download, and you can stream content on your phone, as well as on multiple platforms like Roku and Apple TV. Thanks for watching this edition of the Fox 7 Austin Crime Watch digital exclusive. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fox 7 Austin YouTube channel.